Hey everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Kubal, and I wanted to take some time to talk with you about that forecast, not only here for this evening and tonight, but what looks ahead as we go into early next week. I'm tracking a larger storm system. Looks like it could be bringing us the chance for seeing some stronger to severe storms. At least the setup looks favorable for that, way off in the distance. I want to start with what we have right now, or actually looking back to what we had last night. There were a couple of raucous thunderstorms on us, producing some hail over parts of Story and Marshall County, officially up to ping pong ball sized hail, as noted here by the dot on the map with that cell as it moved through just before midnight, around the 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock time frame, and then moved off to the east. More activity earlier this morning with some beneficial rains once again, but this hail was definitely not wanted. This was the scene from Harold in Nevada, showing some of that ping pong ball sized hail. In fact, there was a lot of smaller hail intertwined in this too, and you'll see it definitely did cover the decks, and I even saw some sites on Highway 30 with the road that was completely covered with hail. Thankfully, it was an isolated threat, and the streaky rainfall totals, both northern and southern Iowa, didn't really see much here in Des Moines. Officially, 1/100th of an inch is all we could garner, but some streaks in there that did garner many locations getting a quarter inch or more. In fact, a couple of spots there west of Fort Dodge, radar estimates pointing to amounts up to 2 inches. Iowa Falls, an estimate of 1 inch and a quarter and a half of an inch on the southern end of the state. We're going to do it again tonight with a couple of clusters of showers and thunderstorms moving through. For now, we have a kind of variable sky as we bring in some cumulus. They've been sweeping in from the south and west. We have a little bit more activity building in. Here's that setup. We have a stationary boundary across the state, and that's going to serve as the focal point for showers and thunderstorms. You see them down there into southeastern Nebraska. That's pushing into the southwestern part of Iowa. At this point, it's going to continue to bubble up and push through. I think our window we're looking at is 7 o'clock and beyond. Here's that activity, and no severe weather associated with it. A couple of flash flood warnings from earlier, though I think that risk is going to be low. In fact, I take that back. There is one severe thunderstorm warning here as this crosses in from Nebraska City down into Mills County, I believe, extreme southwestern Iowa. This is going to be it, though. We're looking at isolated opportunities for seeing some strong to severe storms here overall. Level 1 of 5 on the severe weather outlook. Again, I think hail is the primary troublemaker here, perhaps some gusty wind in this. And the threat is not only small, but it's going to be very spotty in nature in terms of its coverage. So we go into the night here, keeping an eye out for this activity, but the likelihood of seeing it at any one point across the state of Iowa is pretty small in the grand scheme of things. Here's the threats we're looking at for Wednesday night. I think the hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, and perhaps if we catch a string of thunderstorms just right, flash flooding risk, but even that doesn't look to be all too exciting. So you do see a nice placement on the clustering as it cuts across the state from southwest to north and east. I think impact in the metro closer to about 10 o'clock, then out of here by about 2. You see that next round is building off to the west, but we will get a pronounced break in between. This evening, we do have the warmth. Those temperatures hanging out at 78 degrees in Des Moines. Wind is fairly light, and it's been comfortable in the grand scheme. There's not a lot of moisture out there, so it's not humid. Those temperatures into the 70s statewide, even 82 in Oskaloosa. We told you that 80-degree mark would be on the table. Well, certainly is. I do think we're aiming at the mid-70s once again for tomorrow. We should get there into the middle stages of the afternoon, but you see that next round of rain is building back in. We showed you on Futurecast. It arrives in the western part of the state in the morning and slowly makes its way further eastward with time. Better clustering of showers and thunderstorms cutting through. In fact, there's going to be multiple rounds. But the better clustering sliding through central Iowa, it looks like into the evening. Not really a severe weather risk coming together, very low in that regard. But there will be multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms that continue to traverse Thursday night going into Friday morning. Finally, we'll get that activity out of here. Out of the two waves combined, we are going to be calling for anywhere from 1/2 of an inch to 1.5 inches plus out of this activity. And you see that target zone mostly over western Iowa. We dive in that rain a little bit earlier on Thursday and hold it for a little bit longer. 57 degrees tonight is our call for the overnight low and isolated strong storm. And then we are looking at 74 degrees on Thursday for the high. Temperatures may be a little bit in flux, and you see there is a clear difference across the state. Rain influencing things, especially north and west, keeping those temperatures down. And conversely, in southeastern Iowa, we're into the 80s once again. Just takes a little longer to get that rain your direction. I want to jump ahead into early next week. I've been eyeing this in the long range. It looks like the synoptic setup is favorable to be seeing the possibility of seeing severe storms. Now, this is not a guarantee, but I do want to put it on your radar because the setup I'm looking at is favorable. We'll get the pop of warmth in here. Early taste at some summertime humidity. It's not going to be off the charts, but likely to the level you're going to be feeling it. May want you to kick on the air conditioning. And those mid-level winds will be stronger as we look up higher in the atmosphere. Just a favorable profile for seeing strong to severe storms come together. Now, of course, this system is still well off into the Pacific. We're going to be tracking this one closely as it moves in because I'm seeing some of those earmarks that I look for when it comes to eyeing potential severe weather. So this is just serving as a heads up right now, but an early look, I'd favor the evening and overnight across central Iowa for storm development, but still way too early for those details. So we'll put it on there. We may even need a weather impact day, but it is still 5 days out. We have plenty of time to diagnose that situation, but we'll push those temperatures up into the 80s. A little bit of humidity to consider. That is going to give us some nice boom at our disposal. Good wind shear, those winds turning direction and strengthening in their velocity as you go up into the atmosphere. So yeah, this one does have the earmarks for it. We'll watch it for you and may need that weather impact day. Temperatures this weekend will be a little bit cooler. Nice dry stretch from especially the later stages of Friday through Saturday and even into Sunday morning a bit before that rain chance returns. But all eyes on to early next week as we go into that setup, and those temperatures will dial it back a bit beyond that storm system as well. So that's what we're looking at here. Thanks for joining me on this extended look. We'll get you more details on early next week as we move towards Friday. I'd say we can start to dive into some of the shenanigans that we can expect with that. But that's going to do it for me right here. I appreciate you joining me no matter how you're joining me, whether it be social media, We're Iowa Plus, we'reiowa.com, or our mobile app. I do appreciate you dropping by and checking out that forecast and putting your trust in me and the Local 5 Weather Impact Weather Team to keep you updated on those spring and summertime thunderstorm chances. Yeah, we're getting to the end stages of April here. Those April showers, you know, those Mayflowers are going to be pushing in, and we enter severe weather season as well. A couple of days to track. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one.